Hey everyone, Adrian here. Welcome to the Conversations with Adrian podcast. Today, I'm joined by Dave Weiss. Dave Weiss, is that right?
Weiss like ice. Yes.
Like Weiss Rice. Yeah, that's good. It's so great to meet you, man. I'm thanking you for coming on the show. I really appreciate you being here.
No problem. I was checking out some of your podcasts. You have some very good things to say. We're on the same line of thinking about your thoughts creating our reality and the poisons that come from every angle at us, verbally, physically, emotionally. That just dealing with all of that properly is the way to live life to the fullest.
Yeah, exactly right. No, I think we are of a similar view to the world, but no pun intended. People will see that on your screen. You've got Flat Earth Dave, which is your nickname, I suppose, what we'd probably call it in Australia. That people know you by, and I'm really fascinated to delve into this conversation because there's I guess a little bit of history about me is that I come from a business background. When this COVID pandemic and all this bullshit happened with that, I started to speak out about it and got absolutely smashed about my opinions. And so I thought to myself, well, there must be a way of getting my point across, because I started to question, am I on the right path, or am I looking for confirmation bias, or there are other people that think like me? And so what I did was I went and interviewed experts around the world, doctors and, virologists and all that
Nice.
kind of stuff. And I thought, well, yeah, I'll just get them to say it, because it's not me saying it. When people say to me, you're not a doctor, you're not a virologist, what would you fucking know about diseases and all that kind of stuff? And I go, you know what, that's a fair point. I really don't.
It
I'm just going on a gut feeling and what I see visually going on, and it doesn't make any sense. But I'll get my eyes on some people that know what they're talking about and have years and years of experience. So that's my sort of trajectory into it. And a lot of people would gravitate towards the things that I say, because some of the things that I say are quite polarizing, but then I have a voice that I think others don't. And I feel like you are on a similar path in terms of
well,
speaking about the world being flat versus being a globe.
let me just chime in. Happy to talk about the 2020 nonsense, but just be careful what you say because this is going on YouTube, and they don't like
Sure.
truth. So just use
That's
use
right.
the use the proper words. And I did the same thing. I refused to muzzle myself and restrict my connection to spirit. And I went into the big box stores that we have here, Costco and Trader Joe's, and I was escorted out by the police. But I held my position and refused, and never once put that on. And so again, we are on the exact same path. And then when it comes to flat Earth is even more triggering. So many people fell for the spell of 2020, and flat Earth. Flat Earthers all have the same story. We laughed at it when we first heard about it. Then when someone told us about it again, we ridiculed them. We refused to look at any evidence. We became emotionally upset. And then when we finally said, all right, I'm going to disprove this, that's not a good way to go find information. You say, I'm going to go find the truth. Like you said before the show, I really hope the earth is flat. Well,
I
you
do.
hope to find the truth. That's what you really hope. Okay. And
That's true.
yeah. And then we all try to debunk flat earth, and that's how we become flat earthers, because flat earthers know more about the globe model than the globalists, right? Because
Right.
because if you knew a tenth of what we know about the globe, you'd be a flat earther. That's how stupid it is. And one thing of flat earthers, some people say, we're in a dome. Some people say the sky is flat. Some people say it's extended. There's more land. That's all cool. We can have that conversation all day. But we all know it's not a spinning rock floating um, in scientifically impossible a space vacuum. We all know that
Yeah.
together. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Well,
We're
look,
having a
I'm excited
conversation.
about this
Yeah.
conversation
Okay.
because it's like when the attack, I'm not sure if you probably have got this, but the attack that I used to get online was, you're nothing but a flat earther or a Trump supporter. Like, that was their dig at me for having a different perspective on things. So, yeah, for truth's sake, this is why I want to talk to you, because I don't know if I'm if I really want the earth to be flat and confirm some of the things that I see just with my naked eye, because that's kind of the thing that was going through the last couple of years. I would say to people, hey, listen, I know your perspective from the news and whatever is that everyone's dying, but I'm on the streets all the time. I'm down the beach, I'm having a coffee, I'm in my place of business when it was allowed to be open, and I don't see the things that you're seeing. I'm not seeing people dropping in the streets. I'm not seeing anything going on. So what I see versus what you're telling me is true is different. And so when I come to flat earth, I have this debate with my brother all the time, and he laughs at me, and that's okay, because we have spirited conversations all the time. And I know he loves me. So it's just like, he doesn't come at me like I'm some sort of idiot. But I just say to him, it's mostly flat. When I look around, and I've been up in the sky high enough to know that when I'm looking to the horizon, and when I look and I travel many distances, like thousands of miles, I've traveled around the world, and it mostly is level. And so just from a very layman perspective, I just think, yeah, you know what? It is mostly level. I come from a building background. My dad's a builder. My brother's in construction.
Right.
Whenever you would find a level on a construction site, old builders, like, I'm 45, so back when I was doing my apprenticeship, they would get a clear hose with water
level,
and they would fill with water and find the level of the block, and then that would be their level. They didn't have a laser or those sorts of things back in those days. They would use water. So again, like, water always finds its level. So I know you're going to go through amongst the things, but that's my
you're absolutely right. All construction is done on planar surveying. There's no curvature factored in bridges, tunnels, buildings, cities. There's no curvature at all. And when you look at airplanes and the spy plane that goes 2,300 miles per hour, that thing would have to nosedive down 80 stories every second just to follow the curve of the earth. Right? That would put the pilot against the ceiling if that was going on. So,
wow, yeah.
When you actually look into this, and it's at the beginning you were saying something about you're not qualified, you're not you need to find the experts. Sometimes the experts are the most indoctrinated. The teachers are not lying; they're the ones that memorize and regurgitate the best. It's people that think outside the box that get kicked out of the school. Right? People that look for the real, for reality. This is reality right here. This is a balloon, 120,000 feet. The earth is not spinning out from underneath it. This balloon's up there for 3.5 hours. It should land 3,000 miles to the west, but it doesn't. It lands right near where it took off, sometimes to the east. Wait a minute. If the earth is spinning, it would have to go up and outrun the earth and then land in front of it, which is ridiculous. Absolute, complete and total insanity. This is an amateur balloon photo without a fisheye lens. This is an amateur balloon photo without a fisheye lens. And when you're up high, you can't even see. The earth is all whited out. And you go back, it's kind of, the colors are muted. But when you see pictures from NASA, this is another one, right? The sun kind of looks like, in all of these pictures, it looks like it's almost the same height as the balloon. But then we have a picture from NASA and we get this. Oh, and all of a sudden you can see the land, you can see the lights, and you have this curve and this green line. This is from NASA. This is stupid. Wow. And here's another one. This is from NASA, and they always have the arm or something. Look, we're in space, and this is kind of a very lumpy. Or is that a circle, or is that the bottom half of a pear? So this is NASA. This is NASA. NASA, right? This is what they want you to see. Oh, by the way, here, this is from the space station. See this curve from the space station? See this curve? It's a little different. Why is it different? Why? Okay, we'll say it's close to the same. This is a little flatter. This is from the space station. This is from when Elon Musk sent his car up to space. And he could see the whole Earth. He could see the whole Earth. This is what they showed us. First question is, where's all the land? But the other question is, how could he see the whole Earth when the space station can't? This is at 170 miles up, and the space station's 250 miles up. This is from like 1 million miles away. What's going on here? What this is just stupidity, fakery. If you can't figure it out, it's because it's lies and it's just nonsense. Absolute and total nonsense.
Yeah. Well, look, let's make sense of it, because again, it's just it is a difficult thing to wrap your head around, because you're so indoctrinated of years and years of programming of like what it should be, and then you've got the NASA photos and the images from space and all that kind of stuff, and then there's all questions about the sky and what's above it and the firmament, and then you've got, you know, what's outer space and what are these things that they call planets, and you know, what about the moon landing? Like, there's so many things that we could go on about in terms of what's outside of that. And then there's this great question which I want to get to, hopefully if we got time, is like, where does this leave the creator in the world, in terms of, you know, who designed this, and is this a matrix, is this a simulation? Like, there's, I don't know if we've got time to get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into all that.
I want to pose a question.
Yeah. All right,
yeah.
But I went on to chat planets. Go ahead. I'm saving up a question.
I went on to Chat GPT, and I said to Chat GPT, my friend thinks the Earth's flat, and I think the Earth is round. So I want to have like 20 ways to prove that he's wrong. And this is what Chat GPT, it says, well, number one, the concept of gravity is explained by Isaac Newton. It's later refined by Albert Einstein, and is consistent with a spherical Earth. Gravity pulls objects towards the center mass, which is naturally forms a sphere.
Okay.
All right. Over to you.
You want to go there? Just real quick. This is the Suez Canal. There should be over a mile of curvature, but there's zero curvature factored in. It had a datum line, went for over 100 miles with zero curvature. There should be over a mile, over 6,600 feet of curvature. And there's none. None. And then you just mentioned planets real quick, and then we'll hit gravity.
Yeah.
Planets are wandering stars. They used to be called wandering stars. If you look up in the sky and see Venus or Jupiter's in our night sky here in the US now, it's super bright. Now, where's it getting its light? Well, the heliocentric model says that the sun is reflecting off the planet and coming back to you. Go outside, look at some rocks on the ground. Are they reflecting light back to you that bright that they look like the sun? Jupiter is they say is a gassy planet, and we're going to get into gravity with Jupiter. Jupiter is made of mostly hydrogen and helium, which defy gravity here on Earth. But they say Jupiter has more gravity than all of the other planets combined. So that's weird. In space, gas, instead of filling the available space, collapses upon each other itself to create planets and suns and stars. And the light that bounces off of things in space gets brighter over distance rather than fading. So we look up at the sun, we see the sun, it's like the size of a coin held at arm's length. If you were on Jupiter, the sun would be like the size of a pencil eraser because you're so far away. So you have to believe that little distant sun, that little sun is reflecting light, reflecting off of the clouds of Jupiter and coming all the way back to your eyes in Australia, where you can see it as bright as the sky. Here is a little experiment, a little thing I did the other day. I got up at 4:00 in the morning and I saw Venus, which is right here. So here's the Earth, here's our moon, here's Venus, and here's the sun, right? Not to scale, of course. So if the sun's over there and I'm right on the crest of this ball, that would be early morning. So turn off the lights. I have the light on. So I'm right here, just in the dark. Sun's just about to come up. It's still below my horizon because I'm over the ball. And I have a crescent moon, and I should have a crescent Venus, right? Because the sun is on the other side, this side of Venus that's facing me. So here's the moon. And then when I zoom out, you'll see where now I'm looking east and the sun is over there. And then over here, you're going to see Venus, and I'm going to zoom in on Venus. Here's Venus. And when I zoom in on Venus, you tell me if this is a gassy, rocky planet reflecting sunlight. Does that look like something reflecting sunlight, or is that something else? I'm not claiming to know what it is. I think planets, wandering stars, and stars are sentient. But that's me. I think that's all part of human consciousness.
Mm.
Yeah.
All
Crazy.
right.
All right.
Let's
So
start from the ground up.
gravity. Gravity.
Yeah. So
Gravity.
let's explain that, because there's going to be people here, Dave, that are just like, already they're probably just switched off. They're just like, Adrian's definitely fucking lost his mind now because he's gone too far.
I have a challenge for them.
I'm interested in this.
I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. I normally make you watch the videos on my app, but feel free to send me your globe proof after this. info@theflatearthpodcast.com. Be concise. Tell me what your globe proof is, and you win 3 Bitcoins. Make sure you include your Bitcoin address. But I'm telling you, you're not going to find any because the Earth is not a globe. So let's think about gravity for a second. So the sun, made out of helium and hydrogen, which somehow collapses upon itself and creates gravity. I don't know. That's weird. And you have all of these planets, not to scale, right? Asteroid belt, and you got all the way out. And if you ever looked at a scale model, some guys did it in the Arizona desert, where they had a sun which was like 30 feet tall. They blew up like a bouncy house, and the planets were like a mile away in the size of a tennis ball. You know, the Earth was just like so far away you couldn't even see it. And so the sun is holding on with its gravity to all of these planets, all of the planets. And the planets hold on to their own moons. So this is a solar eclipse, and they tell us that the moon is blocking the sun. So if I'm the Earth, I'm looking at the sun, here's the moon, then the sun. So the sun is holding the Earth, holding Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, all the planets, but it's ignoring the moon. If this was the moon's in between me and the sun. How come the sun doesn't hold on to the moon? Well, the moon is closer to the Earth, Dave, and it negates the sun's gravity. Oh, cool. So gravity is selective. The sun can hold on to all of the other planets, but it ignores moons, right? It's the dumbest crap ever. If you can't figure it out, you're smart, because it can't be figured out, because it's the dumbest crap ever. So we're crazy because we say, you know, this is down, right? We're crazy because we say this is down. Down is down for everybody. In Australia, South America, it's just down. Down is down. But on a ball, we're spinning and whirling and twirling, and down is everyone's feet are pointing down towards each other, sideways, which is just complete and total insanity. So do you know about the 3-body problem? The 3-body problem is this. In a supercomputer, you can put 2 bodies, a sun and a moon, or a sun and a planet, and you can figure out what they're going to do forever. But you put 3 or more bodies in there, and it goes into chaos mode, and no supercomputer can figure out what 3 bodies are going to do, let alone 4, let alone 5. These are 3 bodies all the same size. Try making them different sizes. No computer can figure out what it's going to do. The gravitational model is chaos. But somehow our sky is a perfect clock. Go out tonight, take a picture of the stars, put a note in your calendar to take that same picture next year, same night, same time, and every star will be in the exact same place. So here's the question. When I drop this, why does it go down? First answer is it's more dense than the air around it. Okay, well, why doesn't it go sideways? And so that's a little bit of an argument inside of the flat Earth community. People are trying to figure it out because, you know, here's something you can never test. If I snap my fingers and the entire Earth disappeared and I let go of this ball, which way is down? Could go that way, could go that way, right? Which way is down? Down is towards the Earth. Down is the ground. And why is that? Well, our ground is testably, measurably, it has a neutral or negative charge, however you want to term it. And everything above the ground is in a positive charge. The sky is positively charged. So anything above the ground is positively charged, and it will go down. Here's an example of that. We got some leftover party balloons. We got a little button here taped onto the end of this wire. This wire goes to a Van de Graaff generator, and we can add a positive charge to this. So watch, we're going to add a positive charge. And what happens? It goes down. Now, did we make it heavier, or did we just change the electrostatic charge? Discharge it, and it goes back up. Okay? So that's interesting. Let's try the opposite. We have this tinfoil triangle. We put a negative charge into it. It goes up. If we put a negative charge into it and keep it in there, keep it negatively charged, don't let the air take it over, it'll just stay in the air indefinitely. It's using electrostatics. Electrostatics. Here is, this is from MIT just recently. This is the silent drone, no moving parts. They say it's using ionic wind. They're just changing the electric potential of this and it flies. What if you had a way to pull that electricity out of the air and you never needed to add batteries to this? It could just fly forever. Think about what that would do. What difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday? Actually, maybe you don't if we have access to real technology. So we're changing electrostatics. Now, they say in the science, the ones that hijack the word science, the professionals that identify as science, they say that gravity is a weak force. Okay, how weak? Well, they say the electrostatic force, which I just demonstrated to you, is 10 to the 26, the 26 or 36. Let's just say 26, give them the benefit of the doubt. 10 to the 26 power stronger than gravity. 10 to the 26 power stronger. So let's put that into focus on how big of a number that is. And they say, and the electrostatic force is kind of weak. So it's 10 to the 26 power stronger than gravity. If I was in that room with you and I gave you, you insulted my girlfriend and I punched you in the shoulder and you're like, all right. It was like, all right. So then what if I punch you 100 times harder? Might really hurt. If I punch you 1,000 times harder, probably break your back. If I punched you 100,000 times farther, you're dead and the house will probably explode, right? If I punched you 1,000,000 times harder, I think that there might be an explosion of some sort, right? If I did it 1 billion, I skipped over 100 million, 1 billion times harder, it might react like a nuclear bomb if there was such a thing. And if I did it 1 trillion times harder, you can't even fathom, right? It might blow up all of Australia. Who knows? We can't even fathom. That is 10 to the 12th power. 10 to the 12th. Wow. The electrostatic force is 10 to the 26th, right? 10 to the 26th, stronger than gravity. You know what that means? If I had a 100-pound weight right here and it was only gravity that was going to make it go down, forget buoyancy and density and everything. Gravity is the only thing that made things go down. If I let it go, it would stay there for 1,000,000 friggin' years because there is no force. 10 to the 26th less than the weak electrostatic force is 0.0 thousand zeros. There's no force. So they're telling us right there. They're lying about gravity. How's that?
Good. Let's keep going.
Oh, I got
there's a lot to this.
Look, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
I love it. Like I'm going to let you roll because you seem like the type of person that if I kick the
no, I want you to ask me questions.
Road, you just keep going.
There's too many things. You ask me questions.
Yeah. No, look, I think you've covered the curvature of the horizon.
Let's talk about no curvature.
So
let's talk about no curvature.
Yeah. So you did cover it a little bit, but yeah, if you want to go into that, obviously.
So here is a photo. We call it the black swan. This camera was 1 foot off the ground. When you're 1 foot off the ground, they want you to tell you that you're too small to see the curvature of the earth, but they want you to believe that boats will go over the horizon. And using their math, when you're 1 foot off the ground, you shouldn't be able to see the surface of the water beyond 1.2 miles away. That's how close the horizon would be if you're 1 foot off the ground. 6 feet off the ground, 3 miles, because there's a 6 foot drop at 3 miles. Here's a rig, and it's not a boat, so we know exactly how far it is, 9.4 miles. There should be 59 feet of curvature. Not only can we see the rig, we can see the water for dozens of miles beyond it. And the only answer they have is that everything is refracting up a different amount and stopping at your eye level, not refracting up higher or lower. Everything is refracting up the exact amount to make it all appear to be flat. Make it all appear to be flat. Does that make any sense to you? Makes no sense. No. It makes no sense. Here's the thing. They've done an amazing spell, because when you explain this to somebody, their mind short circuits. They're like, I can't figure that out. I have to just believe a guy in a bow tie, who lies, because he's the professor. And the truth is, you can't figure it out because you can't figure it out because it's stupid. It's just it's absolutely stupid. Let me just show you just one more thing. This is a simple one here. So here is a lake, and it freezes in the winter. So large bodies of water at rest lie flat, as you said earlier. When it's below freezing and not moving, it'll also freeze. So we have a frozen lake. Beautiful. Put a guy out here. He's got his camera less than a foot, 6 inches off the ice, and he set up these 4 lights. This one is 8 miles away, 7, 6, and 5, and they're all a foot off the ground. Now I rounded up on everything. I made it less. The real curvature is like 40 feet, so I rounded down 30 feet, 22 feet, 15 feet, 9 feet. This should be behind the 3-story building of curvature, right? 22 feet, 15 feet, 9 feet. Not only can we see them all, they're all refracting. If it's refraction, they're all, and at night on the cold, no refraction. And they're all stopping right at eye level. They're all trying to fool you by making them look like they're all on the same plane, when the truth is they are all on the same plane, period. Earth is flat. There is no curvature. You can't have high pressure next to a vacuum without a container. Now people say, well, gravity is holding the earth down. Do you ever wonder, I'm holding the air down. Gravity holds the air down, but clouds, which have water vapor, which is obviously heavier than air, float. Right. Wait, why doesn't gravity pull the water down? How come it's floating? Electrostatics is the answer. And that's not where all the water is anyway. That's a whole nother thing. So they say that gravity is holding the air down, and the air just gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner until it's a vacuum. Oh, that's a cool story. So if you open a soda can, what happens? It instantly equalizes. Air instantly equalizes when given the opportunity. If I had a big box and I sucked all the air out of it, so I got a vacuum box, a box of no air, and I had a valve on the bottom at 10,000 feet, 100,000 feet, or 2 feet off the ground where the gravity is the strongest, I should be able to open up the bottom of that, and the air, which should remain below it. But nope, the air is going to instantly fill it. I can drink with a straw. Do you think the low pressure system of my mouth and lungs is stronger or weaker than the zero pressure of space? The vacuum of space, which is a Tor 17 vacuum, which we can't even create here on Earth. NASA has a vacuum chamber, and it's got 10-foot thick steel and concrete walls so it doesn't implode, and they can only get it to like a Tor 7 or something. They can't even get it to a full vacuum. They don't have a machine strong enough to make it, the power of the vacuum is insane. Nature abhors a vacuum. So I can open that up and I could drink through a straw. It completely negates the idea that gravity is holding the air down, and a summer breeze blows left, it blows right, it blows up, it blows down, butterflies fly. You could hold your arms up, right? Insanity. You can't figure it out because you can't figure it out. That's how it is.
And not to mention that it's spinning as well. So I mean, there's that argument too. What about my brother's a pilot? He so when we have these discussions, I ask him if he adjusts his levels, and he says he doesn't have to, because I think he explains it like the earth is pulling the plane to the ground. It just adjusts as it goes. He doesn't have to pull it up. It's the gravitational pull. So I think that's kind of what we're talking about before. But when it comes to
you know what I say to that?
Circumnavigation and things like that. Let's talk to that a little bit.
I say, cool story, bro.
He's gonna love this if he watches it.
Cool story. But, since I'm going to keep my glasses on for a little while, because these are some very cool stories. I like the cool stories.
Go for it.
All right. So airplanes. So there's supposedly a little device. I forget what it's called. That's on all major airline flights that adjusts for the curvature. And there's the airports, if they fail, they just swap them out. They're not allowed to open them. They're made by one company. and they just swap them out. Well, there was a flight going somewhere, the long flight, and the thing wasn't working. The airport didn't have any more, so they're like, all right, just go and just radio in every 15 minutes, and we'll give you an adjustment. So the pilot radioed in every 15 minutes, and there were no adjustments. And so he was curious. So he started investigating, started calling around, and you call the company, you can't get anybody. Then he did some research, found out that company is a subsidiary of NASA. Right? And they found out that the boxes do nothing. They do absolutely nothing. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane. And so pilots do not adjust. As I was talking before, the SR-71 would have to nose down so fast the pilot would be blasted against the ceiling. Because he's nosing down 80 stories a second. That's faster than a free-falling skydiver. 80 stories a second. You can't even fathom that amount of curvature. So here is a that's not what I want to show you. Where is this it? Oh yeah. So we got an airplane flying over a globe instead of a plane. Weird. That's not half of the problem because the Earth isn't spinning. So if the Earth is spinning, let's look at that. What is going on here? Here we go. All right. So the Earth is spinning. This plane is kind of doing this crazy, stupid figure eight. Well, that's because, Dave, the atmosphere is spinning with the Earth, right? All right, cool. So let's look at this plane. And when it's right on the equator, right there, the equator is just under 25,000 miles around. It spins once a day. So it's going just over 1,000 miles an hour. So this plane is spinning sideways at 1,000 miles an hour here. It has to keep up with the land. And then when it gets up there, well, that little circle, that's only going to maybe 200 miles an hour. So it's slowed down 800 miles an hour sideways motion to maintain its path. And when it gets up there, it's just pirouetting. It's just pirouetting. And then it has to speed up. It has to speed up again. Does that make any sense to you?
No.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
It's fascinating that your brain does switch off. It does get to a point where it's short circuits because you're starting to try to make sense of how it can possibly do it. And I come up with nothing. I'm sure there'll be people commenting about how it does make sense, but I mean,
no, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
In my mind, it just doesn't make it.
It doesn't make sense. Well, who are you? Where'd you get your degree? Okay. So that's what they're going to pull. They're going to pull a whole bunch of fallacies. So this balloon is moving sideways when it goes up at 1,000 miles an hour. This one's just pirouetting like a ballet dancer. Same with this one. What about if one was here? It would go this way, and then it would have to maintain its 90-degree bottom to the Earth as it's spun around at that same latitude. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. I say that a lot. It's so dumb.
I know. Look, you know what I love about this? You've just got an answer for everything. I can't believe how
I don't have an answer for everything. I don't have an answer
through these slides. You're doing good.
Check this out. This was the first balloon that I'm sideswiping for a second. So this is put up. This is in the 60s. The Army put up this balloon, and this is what they showed the world. Right. So I'm just going to fast forward, and it went up, and they got the first pictures of stars in space. Are you ready for this? Okay, it's going up. This is what they're showing everybody. This is when they're brainwashing everybody, and this is what they show. Look at this. This is what they first. How can we see stars inside of the moon? Isn't that just lit? I mean, look at this. This is what they showed us. Isn't that crazy? Wasn't that crazy?
Mm. A lot of trickery going on.
Yeah, a lot of trickery. All right, go ahead. Your turn.
All right, so I'm in Australia. You're in the US. So I'm upside down, and I'm also from the future. So how do you explain the time continuum, or however you want to call it? You know, the time zones in terms of
Yeah.
why it takes so long for, why there's daylight here, and I guess there's many angles to go. I'm in the daylight, you'd be in the night. I'm from the future, you're from the past. Like, how do we explain that on a flat Earth using a flat Earth theory?
Yeah. So let's look at the sunsets for a second. That'll lead right into that. So where is it? Where is my sun fade out? So the sun is a small local light on Earth, and it takes its light with it. Where the heck is my thing? All right, here it is. All right. So I have my drone up. It was winter here when I did this. It was below 30 degrees Fahrenheit, below freezing. And the sun went down, 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 and then it stopped. It didn't keep on going down. If the Earth was spinning, it would keep on going. This is super sped up. Excuse me. And the sun just sat here. Now, my friends were at the beach over there. They said they saw the sun set from the bottom up 10 minutes ago. I'm still watching the sun. Where's it going? What's it doing? It's taking its light with it. Its light can no longer push. Light, what do you mean? Light travels for billions of years. When we're looking at stars, they could have been burned out a billion years ago, but we're still seeing the light. That's a myth. That's a cool story, bro. So here is the sun. It's going back and forth, fading in and out. So now let's talk about why we don't see the sun all the time. Why am I seeing two things here?
So, right, Dave, what's that sun doing there? The sun is retracting.
The sun is just going away. I'm going to show you where it's going in a second. So here I created a flat. This is my flat Earth kitchen. I got the kitchen counter here, and I got the path of the sun, and we're viewing it from a celestial point of view. We're viewing it from the height of the sun. So the sun's just moving along this line. Now, this could be mountains, this could be clouds, atmospheric opacity, but we're above it, and this line is level. We can agree with that. Now, I have a terrestrial camera on the other end of the counter watching it go away. We're going to watch the same thing from a terrestrial point of view, the exact same thing. It looks like it's going down. This mountain, which is way higher than the camera, kind of looks like it's at the same height as the camera, and the sun just goes beyond it. It's going beyond it. And now I zoom in, look at this line. This line is level. This is not at my eye level, but it sure looks like it is. And it goes beyond it. Compare that to a real sunset. What do we got? This is just going away. Here's the sun just going away. And it goes down. It goes down. So,
right. So the sun is doing what? It's doing this sort of like,
it's doing a circle around us.
Around the Earth.
Yeah, I'll show you right now.
But not in a full circular motion. It must be going
like in a clock. It's like a clock, right? The hour hand is the sun. So it's noon in Australia, noon Central Australia, noon Western Australia, right? And wherever the sun is, it's noon. So here you got your 24 hours, the sky clock. The sun keeps track of the hours and the days. Now I could wait until the sun is over here, call my friend in Johannesburg and say, where's the sun? And it'd be like, oh, it's directly above me and it's noon. Then I could wait. I'm here in Connecticut. It's like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., right? The sun is coming around and I could wait and call somebody in Buenos Aires and bam, they're going to tell me the sun's right above them. Excuse me. So wherever the sun is, that keeps track of the day and night. Now notice the shape of the light. This is going to change and I'm going to show you. Right? The sun keeps track of the hours and the days. If I speed it up, you'll see that the moon is falling behind and it's going to get bigger. So the phase of the moon and its position keep track of the weeks and the months. There used to be 13 months of 28 days. And so there's your weeks and months. Excuse me. And if I turn on the stars are spinning. The sun will lap the moon once every 28, 29 days. The stars will lap the sun once every, you want to guess? 300,
go for it.
365 days. So the sun is in this zodiac right now. It'll drift back into that zodiac, into that. It'll drift for about a month in each zodiac. So the stars keep track of the seasons and the years.
Interesting.
So
is that why I can see the sun and the moon in the daylight at the same time?
like right
Like,
now,
I can go out
go
for
up,
some days.
go up. The moon is right behind the sun. So you wouldn't even notice this, but it's morning for you right now. Go out and look right below the sun, and there you'll see the moon. It's right there. It's right behind the sun. It's right. So now you see this outer yellow line. That's the Tropic of Capricorn. That's your summer solstice. That's my winter solstice. Because if I jump the sun forward to November, December, whoops, what happened there? I went back. I went a little too far, but excuse me. So out into, excuse me. Let me take a sip of tea here. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
It's my 4th interview today, so I'm losing my mind. And I got one more after this. So the sun travels out there on December 21st. It hits the Tropic of Capricorn, the heat of your summer, the height of your summer, the height of my winter, because I'm all the way up here. The sun is far away. When a light is far away, it's lower in the sky. So 6 months later, January, February, March, April, May, June. In June, the sun comes all the way in here. That's my summer because the sun is closer. So if you and I were, Adrian, if you and I were sitting outside and you came up to visit me here in February in Connecticut, which is stupid because it's freezing here and everything's frozen. And we're sitting outside 20 feet apart so we don't infect each other with the boogeyman. And we're trying to drink our beers, but they're freezing, right? Then Paige comes out, my partner, my wife, comes out and holds, and she's like, well, my guest is cold. I need to make him warm. And she holds on a big pole, 15 feet above your head, a giant heat lamp directly above your head. Now you're warm. You take off your coat, your beer melts. You're like, I'm warm. And I say, Adrian, where is that heat lamp? And you're going to go, it's right there, right above me. It's directly above me. Cool. Well, I'm looking at it. It's not above me. It's over there. It's about a 45-degree angle off the ground for me, and I'm freezing. So now she walks over to me slowly, takes 6 months, let's say. I'm going to watch that get higher and higher and higher and higher. I'm going to get warmer and warmer. When that light source is near us, it's warmer, it's higher in the sky. You're under a street light, it's high above you, but the street light down the road is at your eye level, but you know it's the same height. It's farther away. So they invert everything. They tell us here in America, in the north, that during the winter, the sun is closer to us, and in the summer, it's farther from us. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I see this in just on the beach. So I see the moon, and it's kind of this translucent sort of looking moon, and then you see the sun right next to it. And I see that often, and I often puzzle and ponder about it in terms of how is it possible. And then also the same as what you were just saying, like, why is it light here and dark there? And it's just one of those things that I've never been able to figure out. And
because you don't have a degree. Yeah, you don't have a degree. The moon, look at the dark spots on the moon. They're the same color as the sky that's behind it. Wait, why is the blue sky behind the moon? I thought the moon was 250,000 miles away. How could we see it during the day? How come we can't see stars during the day? They're brighter than the moon. How come we can't see Jupiter during the day? It's brighter than the moon. How come we go out and look?
What do they say?
Go out.
The distance of the moon?
238,000 miles away, 250,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So, which is ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing ever. Look at the moon. We can zoom in on it. We can see details. Now, that Tycho crater at the bottom of the moon, they say that is, I forget is it 50 or 40 miles wide? Okay. So we went on Google Earth. We drew a circle on the Earth 40 miles wide, put a red circle, and then we zoomed out as far as Google Earth would allow us, and it got so small we couldn't see it. But it only allows us to go like 4,000 miles or something stupid, some low, tiny number. And somehow with our naked eye, we can see Tycho crater. None of their math works. The problem is nobody does the math. And everybody says math is reality. Well, if the moon is the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon and 400 times farther, that's why they look like they're the same size, or maybe they're just the same size, right? Maybe they're just the same size.
How far away do you think the moon is?
I think it's now. Nobody knows the size or distance. I'm going to answer that question, but I have to be careful because flat earthers get triggered really easy. So here are some moons. How big are they? Can you tell me how big they are? How far away they are? You have no idea.
No.
It could be tennis ball size. They could be beach ball size, yoga ball size, or they could actually be the moon. You don't know. But now we're going to have some more data put in that a hand is going to come in and touch it. Is that one a sphere? Right now you got the size because you're like, I know how big a hand is, right? Well, that's a half a sphere. Is this one a sphere? Quick, before she grabs it.
Yeah.
It looks like a sphere. It certainly does, but it's flat. Is that one a sphere? I can see that it's not a sphere, but you can't. It's a cup. So unless you can touch it and measure it, then you can't say anything about it. You can't say anything about what it is. So look at this. Are these boxes moving?
Yes.
No, they're not. Look, I'm going to hold my finger right on the corner right there.
Interesting.
They're not moving at all. They're tricking you. And you still can't make sense of it, right? You still can't work it out unless you can touch it and measure it. Yeah, you can't figure it out. So here, I got to just show you a couple more things real quick. Where is my? Oh, there it is. So which table is thinner and longer, and which one is fatter and shorter? Well, they're both exactly the same size. Now that I showed you that they're the same size, you still can't see it. You still can't make it clear in your mind. They're exactly the same size. Exactly the same size. Right? One more. This one screws people up. Now, this is actually a parabola. It's just making it look like, that it's a window looking at a distance, right? But it's actually spinning in circles, but your brain won't let you see it. It looks like it's going like this. It's actually spinning in circles, but your brain won't let you see it doing that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stick a pen through the window. Okay? We're going to stick a pen through the window. So he sticks a pen through the window, and now when we spin it, do you think you'd be able to tell that it's spinning? Do you think you will? Because now that you have a pen going through it, the pen's going to be spinning with it. Do you think you'll be able to tell that it's spinning and not doing this?
Should be able to, yeah.
Should be able to. You should be able to, but this is how our brains work. Watch this. This is one that's going to freak you out. So he twists up the string, and he gets ready to spin it. Now, this thing is spinning in circles, and watch what happens. Your brain is going to do something very strange.
Oh, wow. So what's going on here?
Your brain is trying to sort out this world, and it's not prepared to understand what's going on right here because you have a lot of expectations. I think that a baby can see it, but you have too many expectations. Like when this far side of the window comes near me, it should get bigger, but it's not getting bigger. Therefore, your brain is doing all of this crazy stuff. When you see a giant moon on the horizon, take a picture of it. Look at the picture. That sucks. The moon is tiny. Like, how come you can't take a picture of the moon? Try this. Turn around, look at the moon upside down through your legs, and it'll be tiny. Giant moon, turn around, bend over, look through your legs, and it'll be tiny. Do that enough times, and then it won't be tiny anymore. Your brain will go, wait a minute, I'm unsorting this, and you see different things. Crazy, right?
Nuts. Yeah.
Nuts.
All right. How much longer have you got to spend with
I,
me? Because
I,
there's a few
I
things that I want to get to.
we can go another. We can go a little while. Go ahead. 30 minutes.
No worries. So I want to know, why do you think the reason is that we have been convinced the earth is round when it actually is flat? What's the purpose
What difference
of
does it make?
holding this lie? Yeah, like what difference does it make whether it's
Why
flat
the
or
lie?
round, and why the lie?
I still have to go to work on Monday. That's what you're thinking, right? Right? We're all programmed. I still have to go to work. What difference
Sure.
does the shape of the earth make? I still have to go to work on Monday. That's when you throw up your hands because all of your ideas on why you think it's a globe have failed. But you're like, well, what's the motive? That's like walking into a room. There's 50 dead bodies, hatchet wounds, guns, and then you look around and go, yeah, what's the motive? Why would they? I'm not going to believe this, even though you just showed me 25 dead bodies, which I just showed you. I'm not going to believe it until I know the motive. I could speculate on the motive. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but we'll talk about that. But on my app, which can be found at flatearthdave.com, the frequently asked questions button, there's a button called Why the Lie right there. And the videos on here are worth the $3 for the app. It'll blow your mind. I'm going to explain it the best I can right now. But the Why the Lie, first, flat is not a shape. Flat is the description of level and horizontal. There's hills and valleys and mountains and trenches. The earth is not flat. It's a horizontal plane with hills and valleys. It's a topographical plane. The water tells us it's flat and stationary. Water tells us everything. It tells us we're not spinning, speeding up, slowing down, curving. We're not doing any of that. So why would they lie? And the answer is, this is all about control. When you look at the thing that happened in 2020, it's all about control, controlling the human race. They don't want us understanding where we live. They don't want us knowing the true power of our minds. They don't want us knowing that we are at the center of creation and we have free will and nobody can take it from us unless we give it away. So we live in this world of commerce and contract, and we're born into a world of natural nature, of God-created nature, and the evil ones that are trying to rule this world, they can't change that. They can't get rid of nature. They can work from it and change it on their thing, but they can't destroy nature. And so when you live in God's world, in the creator's world, they have no control over you. So what do? They need you to believe in their fake world, because if you believe in their fake world, they can give you a birth certificate. They can create corporations that own your birth certificate. They can trade it as a commodity. They can use you as a slave. They can tell you what you need to do. They can steal your money. They can do anything they want to you because you're playing in their system. Your driver's license, everything you do, you're licensing everything away that's rightfully yours. You are a God-created, your rights to this world was created for us, but these evil ones are trying to steal it. So they need us to play in their game with their fake money on their fake world, because if you create it, you own it. God created this world, but they created the globe. So if we live on a globe, you're playing in their system. You are going to lose. Even if you're having a pretty good life, you got a good job, you're making money, you have a nice home, and you're happy. Great. You're missing out. You're totally missing out on what this place is. And this world is the biggest conspiracy of the world. Is this realm is conspiring to give you everything that you think. Everything in your life is your fault. Everything, without exception. It's all your fault. Your thoughts are magnetic. They bring in reality. So if you go watch scary movies, that's on you, right? You're having these horrible thoughts. If you watch the news gives you cancer. Period. It does. Right? You watch these drug commercials they have. I don't know if you have them down out in Australia. Yeah. Abilify, if you're having suicidal thoughts, Abilify. Side effects may include rectal bleeding, heart exploding, death, stroke. And they want you to hear that because every cell in your body is absorbing that information and is now at dis-ease. And then you're watching the news and you're like, oh my God, the Ukraine situation in Israel, and there's someone's going to do a nuclear strike, and then every cell in your body is going nuclear bombs. Oh my God, because you've been programmed to be afraid of nuclear bombs. Spoiler alert: nuclear bombs don't exist. Everyone's freaking out now. You thought you lost them at Flat Earth. Wait until you understand that nuclear bombs don't exist. You want to know about nuclear bombs? Go on the app, open up the homeschool page. Homeschool. I went to the wrong button. And go to homeschool. Go to this button right here and search for the nuclear hoax. And then you'll know that Hiroshima and Nagasaki were nothing more than giant TNT bombs. 3 days later, the trains were running. People were back to work. They're selling flowers on the street. Sandwich shops were open. Business as usual 3 days later. Yes, there were some fires. Yes, some buildings were destroyed, but there wasn't a nuclear bomb. So
wow. That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, it's a whole nother podcast. But I recommend people also, it's about control. If you look into, have you looked into the old world yet? Have you looked into Tartaria, mud floods? Right. So all of our history is a lie. Yeah, all of our history is a lie. Yeah. On the homeschool page again, there's a couple guys in there that are absolutely amazing. But when you look into that, I think there was 100 billion people here back in the 1800s. 100 billion. They tell us there's 8 or 9 now. I think there's 3 max. Because if you look at all of the cities in China and everything, look at all the major cities, add them up. That's like 1/10 of the population. And you have to believe that the rest of the people are out in little villages. No, it doesn't work that way. So, countries are incentivized to say there's more people because then they can tax more and they can do all sorts of stuff. They don't want us getting to a number where we reach critical mass where our minds I'm dying. Where our minds can get together. When the Maharaji effect, when a whole bunch of people meditate together for world peace happens somewhat. So I think that they know that if we reach those numbers, they can't control us.
Interesting. So if we were to walk across the plane of the Earth and we get to Antarctica and things like that, I've seen some information and videos with Admiral Byrd about his reports about going over the Arctic Wall and all those sorts of things and discovering lands beyond that. So can we touch on, like, what do you think is beyond those ice walls? And also, like, do you ever wonder about alien races, about how they come from outer space to Earth? I mean, where are these beings traveling from? If Earth's one plane and we've got these sort of plasma planets that are out there that are just balls of gas, like where do we?
Yeah. So I don't believe
where do they fit into the picture?
I don't believe in outer space. I think that the sky above us is very close. I believe it's water. God separated the waters from the waters, created the firmament. And there's a lot of evidence to it, from whistleblowers to watch, these rocket launches skimming across the dome. Watch let me show you this real quick. You're familiar with the Go Fast rocket? So here in America, when you watch a SpaceX launch or a NASA launch, it's edit. It's a friggin' movie. It's the dumbest crap ever. But we had this independent sponsored by Red Bull. They had this Go Fast rocket and it went up, and one shot, there was a camera looking sideways. Also, it's spinning, so that sideways camera is kind of dizzying, but we're watching it. It's going up and up and up, and if you could hear the noise, all of a sudden at 72 miles it went kerplunk, like into a thicker plasma, not quite water, and then it was floating kind of weird for a little bit, and it stopped spinning all of a sudden. And so we're watching, but a very interesting thing happened. When it turned on its side, all of a sudden we could see the moon came up right there. There's the moon, looking a little flat to me. So we see the moon. Well, that's very interesting. Where was the moon? Here it was done at 11 a.m. in Arizona. So here's the sun, 12 o'clock, right? 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it goes across. And the moon was over you. So if the Earth was a basketball, That rocket was a fraction of a millimeter above the basketball, and the moon was directly below the basketball. How could it see it? Refraction? Or maybe the earth is flat. Maybe, because every piece of reality that we see, every bit of evidence that we experience, everything, every sense tells us that it is flat. Everything. So, wow. What were we just talking about before that? I was about to show you, what was it?
It was Antarctica and things.
Oh, Antarctica. Like yeah. So extraterrestrials. What does that? How does that word break down? Extra means more, and terrestrial, terra, extra land, extraterrestrials. Well, here's a ship tracking site. You can go there, shiptracker.com or whatever it is, and it shows you where all the ships are in the world, and you can click on any one of the ships. It gives you all the information, where they're going, who the captain is, where they're registered. And we saw a ship. Like, what's the ship doing 730 miles from the shoreline of Antarctica, right? And at that distance, they say that if they're like, well, maybe it melted and there's a channel. Well, that channel would be almost 2 miles deep. That's a channel to go in. That'd be a little scary, right? Then we found another one, 905 miles in. That's almost in the middle of Antarctica. It's getting there. So what is going on there? What is going on? Well, this is a map that was found in a Buddhist temple. It was found in a Buddhist temple from like 10 centuries ago. And it shows all of these outer lands. Okay. This is interesting. So what if, we clicked on one of those ships and we found it said it's from Kiribati. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, but Kiribati or Kiribati. Where is Kiribati? And it didn't have any other information other than it was a gigantic ship, 580 meters long, 80 meters wide. That's a big ship, right? So we look up Kiribati on Google Earth. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's a tiny little sandbar. I had to put a pin on it. And we zoom in, and it's just a sandbar. China gave them $10 billion recently. America gave them an amount equal to that recently. What is going on here? They say it's a very important trade route. Very important trade route. Okay, that's interesting. You know the story of Captain Cook, who tried to circle Antarctica? He tried to circumnavigate Antarctica. Antarctica is 10 to 13,000 miles around. It took him 3.5 years, and he went over 68,000 miles. Kind of sounds like he's going around the edge of a flat Earth. But on Kiribati, there happens to be a Captain Cook little hotel. Maybe it's somebody that's just fascinated with Captain Cook. Kind of weird strike. That's a strike. And then when we look at the ships on the ship tracking site that are going to this gigantic pier, they have a massive pier, and we click on all of them. There's no information other than destination unknown or destination Christmas Island. Now, some people say that Kiribati is called Christmas Island. I Google it. It's another island on the other side of Africa, but weird. Christmas Island with all the satanic stuff going on with Christmas. So you go into Kiribati, you get into find out that the history, there's all of this nuke testing going on there, stupid stories, nuke bomb going off, but none of these guys seem to care. Okay. I would be hitting the deck running. I don't know. I wouldn't just be walking around like I'm going to get my lunch. So let's look at time zones for a second. But look at time zones. On a ball, you'd have 24 lines separate going from the North Pole to the South Pole, dividing it up into 24 sections, just like an orange, the sections of an orange. So you have all of your time zones as it spins, right? So we have all of these time zones. This is a stretched out map, but we have this weird date line that goes kind of crazy. It's got this weird thing. So if we take a close up look at that, it goes down, it crosses over 3.5 time zones. This is a weird spot. Guess what's right there? Kiribati. Why is Kiribati right there? Why is the time zone going around it? I don't know the answer, but it is interesting. So real quick, let me just show you this. Where is it? So if we took the AE map, wrapped it around a sphere, this outer land becomes Antarctica. That becomes Antarctica. So Antarctica is not a continent at the bottom of a ball. It is the outer edge of our world. So when Captain Cook went around, that's 68,000 miles. This line here is 24,000 miles. 68 makes sense. So what could be going on in Kiribati, and here's my answer to that, is so we have these lands here. What if it is an important trade route? Here it is. And they're going out here to the extra terra. Maybe they're trading weapons, computer chips, tuna fish, children. I don't know. And there could be another one here, another one here, another one here. All maybe these are just other civilizations out here. Maybe this is where the Mayans all moved to. Maybe they all migrated outwards. There's a lot of evidence that could be the case. Again, we don't know what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica. This is all speculation. There's tons of stories from the past about it. In the book section, check out The Smoky God, the Navigator Across the Ice Wall, The Iron Republic. These are stories from 100 years ago that people are talking about more lands beyond Antarctica. What's going on?
Wow.
So if this was real.
Love to know.
So here's the thing. If the Earth is flat, this is physically possible. Not saying it is. I think it is. I'd bet on it, but I'm not saying it is. This is physically possible. Outer space vacuum with gas balls, the gas collapsing into stars that are giant. They tell us that the stars are bigger than the sun, but we see the sun is bigger than the stars. They tell us that planets are like the Earth, but they look like stars. Everything they tell us is the complete and total opposite. The closest star is 25 trillion miles away to our solar system. The closest star, 25 trillion. Do you remember how big a trillion is? How long is a trillion seconds? Take a guess, Adrian.
A trillion seconds.
Yeah, trillion seconds. If you guess it within a week, I'll give you a Bitcoin.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Take a guess.
Days.
How
4
long?
days.
Four.
Is it 4 days?
Yeah, it's very close.
4 months?
For 31,000 years. Okay. 31,000 years is 1 trillion seconds. The closest planet is sun is 25 star the closest star is 25 trillion miles away. So if we were traveling at a mile per second, which no one has gone that fast, for 31,000 years, you're going to get sick of my dad jokes. You're only 1/24th of the way to that closest star. But let's say I got a faster ship. I went on and talked to Elon, and he's like, here's one that goes 100,000 miles an hour. I can't even fathom what that is. 100,000 miles an hour. It's only going to take us 28,000 years to get there. That's way better. Okay. 28,000 years. That's a fraction of, trillions of years. So outer space, aliens coming here and crashing after navigating scientifically impossible space vacuum, or just coming from the outer lands? Just coming from the outer lands. Right. Here, let me just, this is my favorite. I call this, how do you know? But let me show you this. So what if we lived here? Get rid of that. Hold on. What if we lived here? Here we are. Australia's over here. And these are more lands out here. They've literally taken this and they've cut us off, and they stopped us from going out. So here's a map of the world, and we're going to draw a circle right here. So this is in America, a little Canada, Mexico, some of South America, and then they put up a big wall here, like they're, no one can cross the wall. And no one has internet, radio, television. This is back in, I don't want to say 100 years ago, because 100 years ago they had more shit than we have now. All right. So, or maybe a little bit longer than that. The reset happened a little bit before that. So what if they cut this out and they said, and they taught in schools, they're like, hey, everyone in America and Canada, this is where you live, but you're not allowed to go here because this is the only pristine ice in the world, and there's penguins there that have a migratory route, and we don't want to upset them. So you can. This is it. This is your whole world. We wouldn't know about Australia, UK, Africa. We wouldn't know about anything. This is it. And if you try to sail off the coast, they're going to go, oh, no, 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 this is off limits. You can't go there. That's the Antarctic Treaty. No one's allowed to independently explore beyond 60 degrees south. Try it. You'll get stopped. So this is a prison. So what if the world was set up like this? This is just speculation. I'm not claiming anything. What if there was all of these ponds? What do you call a pond that's occupying a piece of the plane? A planet. A piece of the plane, a planet. So what if we lived right here in the center of this? Australia, America, South America. And they cut it out. They wrapped it around a sphere. And they said, you can't go here. This is off limits. We'll take you to this little island over here called Rothschild Island or Deception Island, but you're not allowed to independently explore here. That's a prison for your mind. And if your mind is in a prison, living in fear, living in lack, and living, where you're limiting your thoughts, then you will never reach your full potential, because our potential is unlimited. There's abundance. There's free energy. There's plenty of food. If every family in the world moved to Australia, we could all have an acre, and most of Australia would be empty. Okay? It's ridiculous. Maybe it's a half an acre. I forget what it is. Nice. So it's they would all have more land than they want us to have now. They want us all in these packed up cities out of nature. Why? Nature is truth. Nature is God. They want to completely cut us off from nature, living in their fake world with their fake everything.
Crazy. All right, let's wrap this up with a topic about the creator. You've mentioned God a bunch, and I really struggle with this. I really do. I think that when it comes to entity that has created all things out of his image and everything that you read in the Bible and things like that.
I'm not saying that at all.
It really challenges me. But I know you're not saying it, but I did hear you on a podcast once say, once you realize that the earth is flat, you realize that there is a creator. And so I just wanted you to explore that for me, because I would love to know your perspective.
So I believed in the Big Bang and evolution. Hey, once upon a time, lightning struck and it created an amoeba, impossible. And that amoeba turned into a fish, and that fish grew legs, climbed out of the water, found another sexy fish that grew legs. They had sex. They had a monkey, and that monkey had a human. Okay. That's cool. That's a cool story. Right. So I believed in that. I believe that we're flying through space. I believe that, eclipses happen on a cycle. I mean, the eclipses actually prove flat Earth, but we don't have time to get into that. I believed all of that until I discovered the Earth was flat, which means it's intelligently designed, which means there's a creator. That's where I draw the line. Now, if you want to attach that to a religion, to the Bible, to the Quran, to whatever you want, that's your own journey. I'm showing you there is a creator. Are we all the creator? Maybe we're all part of the creation. Maybe religions are a trap. Maybe religions are just to control you. The biggest religion is the scientism religion. Everybody, the people that believe science, because they're not using science, they're using pseudoscience to make you believe in absolute and total nonsense. So there is a creator. There's no doubt. If you walked up to a 100-story building, you know that somebody built it. You know there's a builder, right? This world is intelligently created. It was built. I don't know how. I don't know where God came from. I don't even know what it is. It doesn't matter. I know there's a creator, and you can have a connection to that creator, whatever it is. I've seen it myself. Where you ever hear the Akashic records where people meditate and they connect to this wealth of information? I believe that we're all nodes in the Akashic records. And if we get too many of us, it gets too powerful, and the elite don't want that. So they have these resets happen. Could be every 140, 200 years it happens. I don't know the date, but there's evidence that multiple resets have happened. Check the homeschool section on the app. And so I understand that there's a creator, and because of it, in 2014, if you said, Dave, you're going to be talking about flat Earth to people, you're going to quit your company that you started, that the American dream, and you're going to be talking about God, I'd be like, you're insane. You're absolutely insane, because I rejected the creator my entire life. I rejected the Bible because I went to a kid's Bible study. It was like a trip, and I felt kind of left out. And I was like, I'm going on this Young Life thing, and I went, and they're all fun for kids, but the whole mission was to teach you about the Bible. And so we had the first little Bible study, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And they go, and they read the passage. Literally, like the first thing I heard was, the stars fell to the earth. Wait a minute. A star can't fall to the earth. A star is a gigantic thing, and the earth is a tiny little speck of dust. It can't fall to the earth. And I disregarded the Bible for my entire life until 2014, saying that it's all fake. Now, I'm not saying that the Bible is the truth. I'm saying there's truth in the Bible. And maybe some of it is changed. Maybe there's a bunch of nonsense in there. I'm not making any claims at all. I'm saying I know for a fact that there's a creator. And my relationship with the creator is my relationship with the creator, and yours is yours. And nobody should judge anybody or say, if you don't accept Jesus Christ, you're going to hell. Well, that's your life. That's your world. Okay. That's your world. I'm doing my mission. And I'm following blessings of the creator. I couldn't have done this. What I have done is impossible to do by myself. So I'm going with the flow, doing the best I can. I think the highest purpose of life is to seek ultimate knowledge and share it with others. And, one thing flat earthers all have is we are never bored, because this place is far, far too interesting. If you go, by the way, I'll be speaking at Acapulco in Mexico in February. Anybody that wants to go, the biggest truth conference. It's the 10th year anniversary. It's going to be amazing. You get 10% off with FE Dave. So you can find that at my website. But I'm trying to get out of there. There we go. So I wanted to just quick plug for where are my shirts? All right. Bottom left there. I have all cool flat earth shirts, and I just added, let me see if I can find it. It's going to be way down the list. I just had one that's called Never Bored. And it's a blast. So again, if you're wearing a flat earth shirt, when out, it gets interesting reactions. It starts conversations. It used to get you beat up, but now it literally starts conversations.
That's great.
It used to get you called an idiot. I just want to see that's on here. This is interesting. So
you got tons of stuff there.
I got tons of stuff, but it's fun. It's cool stuff. But I think it's coming up right now. There's one I'm wearing right now, and it should be the next one. And well, you like that one? Hug safe. That's a fun one. It. Yeah. That's a fun one. That one will get you beat up in my town. I live in a very crazy. There it is. Never bored. There it is. Kind of fun.
Awesome.
I don't know.
All right, Dave, mate, you've been amazing. I love your energy and your enthusiasm around this. Appreciate you coming on the show. We'll have to circle back, no pun intended, soon, and just see if we can cover up on more things. I'm sure people will come up with tons of information, so I'll send them over to your website. And it's been a great, entertaining show. I really appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. And just check it out, flatearthdave.com. If you have a podcast or know of a podcast that wants to have this conversation, book Dave at flatearthdave.com. All my socials. If you're just new to this, I want some more, but I don't want to watch anything long. DITRH is my it's linked on my site also. If you forget, it stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. It's my short video YouTube page, and all my videos are under 5 minutes. So it'll suck you in. It'll get you in, and then you'll want to watch some of the longer stuff. There's great stuff on the app, on the more resources pages, FE movies, great stuff on my website, the crash course. Check it out. But Google will not serve you any of this stuff. Google will not. They're hiding it from you. And that should wake you up right there, the fact that they're hiding it. Go watch 10 of my videos and then search your YouTube history for Flat Earth, and none of them will show up, even though they all say Flat Earth in the title and tags.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, mate. You're a champion. Thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
And go out and look at the moon right now. It's right behind the sun, and you'll see it in the sky. All right?
Yeah, everyone should do that.
All right.
Okay, buddy. Thank you so much, mate.
Thanks.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.